with more guard play, playing small ball, and see if this can affect NC State's defense.
Second meeting between these two teams this year. NC State took down Virginia 87-62. That was in early January. The Wolfpack blocked 12 shots in that game as they took control early and slowly built their lead up to 25 points, largest ACC win of the season. Opening tap controlled by NC State, and quickly to the rim, laying it home, Jakia Brown-Turner. 2-0 Wolfpack in the opening seconds.
Well, Jakia Brown-Turner celebrated her birthday yesterday, so getting it going early in this game, 2 points on the board.
Virginia's lost 7 straight. Got off to a big lead against Louisville and Camryn Taylor. That jumper looks smooth early on a Sunday. And
Camryn Taylor is a capable player. Look for Coach Mox like that play right there, trying to get her established early. Keep her out of foul trouble because she fouled out of the last game, because Virginia's going to need her against the Wolfpack this afternoon.
Taylor leads the team in scoring, over 13 points a contest, top 10 in the ACC in shooting percentage. Second possession for NC State, first in their half-court set. Rivers, a top-of-the-arc three, clangs off the rim, and the rebound controlled by Kaydan Lawson. Hoosier going to push. Three-point try. Valladay, too strong. And Rivers the board. Rivers stepping on the gas, her layup short, but Camille Hobby with the follow. 4-2 NC State.
And way to follow for your teammate. Rivers had a nice drive, but Hobby was right there to clean it up.
Down the left side of the key, Camryn Taylor. She's feeling it early, attacking the basket.
She is. She's in attack mode right now, and that's something that UVA has to do. They have to play aggressive and play with a different urgency on the offensive end than they have been the last few games.
Team's leading rebounder as well. Virginia had a 10-point lead in the second half Thursday night against Louisville. Cardinals went on a 12-0 run. Elbow jumper, Hobby, no. Corralled by Brown-Turner. Second chance for NC State. Cavaliers did so much right Thursday night trying to snap that losing streak, but ultimately when their bigs fouled out, they just couldn't hang with Louisville in those final few minutes.
And that was good defense on that last possession by UVA, stopping Rivers on her penetration.
Taylor's jumper is short from the short corner.
Both of these teams really pushing it right now, trying to get established early offensively to see who can basically take control of the tempo for this game.
Weak side cut and a bucket for Jada Boyd, senior from Petersburg, Virginia, playing at her home state. Knows she's NC State back in front.
And that's going to be open, but it shouldn't be. Virginia starting this game, switching defenses man-to-man, but playing zone the last couple of possessions. It has to be weak side help for that backdoor cut.
McKenna Dale takes the deflected pass. And on the three-point line, her long two is off the right side of the rim. Sanaya Rivers transfer from South Carolina, won a national title last year, 22 in black. Jakia Brown-Turner towards the paint. Hobby jacks a three off the mark. And Valladay trying to save it. She does to her teammate Lawson. Good effort by Taylor Valladay, one of their senior leaders. She had trouble getting out of the courtside seats. Those are pretty comfy.
Took a minute, but that was great hustle by Valladay, saving that ball so her team could get another possession.
Neither team's hit a three yet. Camryn Taylor wide open under the basket.
Now that's miscommunication, and I'm sure Coach Moore is not happy about that.
She's got all 6 of Virginia's points. NC State, a much more balanced offensive attack. They've got 7 players averaging 7 points or more. Boyd is one of them, goes to work down low. Lawson contest, forces the shot off the front of the rim, and she's got the board. Fed ahead again. McKenna Dale bobbles in a collision down low. Our first foul. Going to be against Diamond Johnson. One more time at Taylor Valladay.
And that was great hustle right there. She was trying to get the offensive rebound, saves it between her legs, falling out of bounds, and helps her team get another possession, especially trying to establish themselves on the offensive end.
First sub for NC State. We're going to bring in 2 new players. Mimi Collins, grad transfer from Maryland, first year player in Raleigh, and also River Baldwin. So some size coming in for the Wolfpack, trying to clog up that paint.
And that's something that NC State has. They have the size advantage, especially with the post players and the lack of post players that UVA has at their disposal right now due to injuries.
And London Clarkson just into the game. Her layup's off the mark. In transition, Brown Turner will go to the line for two. Nearly had a chance at a three-point play.
And that was a good aggressive move. Good transition offense by NC State. And you see it, Rivers gets it and goes and zips this bounce pass right to the basket. And Brown Turner couldn't finish, but she's at the free throw line for 2 shots.
First free throw comes home. Let's take a look at today's 4 keys to the game. Fallon, what do you have for both these squads?
Well, for NC State, it's rebound with urgency. We know Coach Moore has talked about that, especially with the type of offensive rebounding team UVA is. And for Virginia, they just need to play in attack mode, and we're seeing it to start this game. They are playing aggressive, especially on the offensive end.
Jump ball, possession arrow belongs to Virginia after Brown Turner hits 1 of 2 free throws. That last foul, by the way, on Kaydan Lawson. Our officiating crew, Brian Burnett, Fatou Sissoko Stephen, and Jules Gallion.
You see NC State setting up in this man-to-man right now. It's looking like a zone, but trying to confuse UVA as they come up, trying to establish their offensive set.
Yanta Vaughn from distance. Sanaya Rivers, another rebound. That's her 4th today. In the opening 5 minutes.
Well, Rivers is the player that can make this NC State team go. She's a two-way player for Coach Moore, plays fantastic defense and can score the basketball.
Baldwin's look from the right side of the lane won't go. Valladay resets. Yanta Vaughn, the freshman guard, inserted in the lineup the last couple of weeks. Getting some extended run. Dale puts it on the deck. Valladay, top of the arc. No, Rivers, another rebound. And one of the things Coach Moore loves about Sanaya Rivers, she pushes tempo. One of the reasons she got the start on Thursday against Wake.
And that's something they need to do. They haven't been averaging a lot of fast break points this season.
Offensive foul called on River Baldwin, drawn by McKenna Dale, the grad transfer from Brown. And our first time out of the first quarter, NC State with a 7-6 lead on the road in Charlottesville.
She has, and she is coming with authority to start this game, driving aggressively to the basket with that nice finish. And we saw what she just did at the free throw line with the jump shot, wide open in the paint with the lay-in. So she has established herself early for her team in this game.
And she had broad shoulders to begin the season, but with both Sam Brunell and Mir McLean going down, she is having to carry even more weight on both ends of the floor in the post.
Right, those 2 players were tremendous for this UVA team, and a huge loss with them being out due to injury. But Camryn Taylor has really stepped up her game. I know the pressure's on. Coach Mox is really dependent on her to come with it more offensively, but she is showing it this afternoon early in this one.
There you see McLean standing up there, putting away her crutches. She injured her knee against NC State back in January. And then to her right, Sam Brunell has missed the last handful of games and announced yesterday officially she's going to undergo surgery, but she will return next year for her 5th and final season as a Cavalier.
Yeah. And even though it's tough that she has to end her season early due to injury, it's fantastic that she has an additional year at UVA in her home state.
A huge get out of the transfer portal to come back home for this season and hoping to get ready for next year. That last foul on Sanaya Rivers, her first, and now a traveling violation is going to give NC State the basketball. We haven't seen points for either team in the last 2.5 minutes. NC State hadn't had a field goal the last 3.5. That's a little concerning how poorly they shot the ball on Thursday night. Went 0 for 10 from 3.
Yeah, against Wake Forest. And we talked to Coach Moore. He said he can't recall during his time here at NC State where he's had a team not make a 3. So,
how about that move from Taylor Valladay.
I mean,
slithering through the lane.
She is lightning quick, and if she could get going and get full momentum, that's what she's capable of doing, is getting to the basket.
Snaps a 2.5-minute scoring drought for Virginia. Taylor Valladay playing a little more moxie here these last couple of games.
She is, and that's being aggressive. You have to find and pick up Valladay early because she's a capable ball handler and is capable of getting into the basket just like she did on that last possession.
She had 12 on Thursday night against Louisville, but that was her first effort in double figures in close to a month. So after the foul on McKenna Dale, it's her first. Virginia now with 2. Short range miss there from Brown Turner. And McKenna Dale leads the transition. Feeds down low. Alexia Smith with the lay-in.
And that's a nice pass by Dale. Smith was continuing to go to the basket. Dale found her for the open lay-in.
And that's 4 quick fast break points for Virginia here in the last minute or so. NC State did not allow a fast break point in their win on Thursday against Wake.
Yeah, you see it right here. Dale looks and just makes a nice pass as she sees Smith cut into the basket. Smith's able to finish, but NC State, they have to do a better job on transition defense, something they did well against Wake Forest, but so far, that's not a good showing on that possession.
Mimi Collins is going to inbound. Isaiah James, little pocket pass down low, double team trap and a jump ball. It'll stay with the Wolfpack, but that's good discipline by Clarkson and Dale.
Yes, great discipline, especially to tie up Hobby in the low block. But Hobby cannot allow, she has to move and pivot with that basketball. Once she gathered or had that ball low, UVA was able to get hands on it.
NC State going to turn it over there on the carry. They've missed 7 of their last 8 shots, 5 straight. And this feels like the same malaise they were caught in last time out.
And it's just been what Coach Moore said. They're still searching for consistency and leadership and trying to determine, you know, when they get in stretches like this, how they can get out of it, how they can get some momentum going. And I know Diamond Johnson is the player that he's looking to for that.
Smith's turnaround shot won't go. Diamond Johnson bringing it up for the Wolfpack. NC State 0 for 3 from distance so far today, and another turnover. Here comes McKenna Dale, walled off by Johnson.
Yeah, that was great anticipation by Dale.
And Camryn Taylor, everything but the bucket that time.
Yeah, these teams are just battling. Besides the fast break points UVA's been able to get, NC State's been stingy when it comes to trying to get points in the paint.
And that's 3 straight possessions that have ended in a turnover for the Wolfpack. And a sub coming in, Jada Boyd. Coach Moore was candid with us last night. He said this has been the toughest season of his head coaching career. This is year number 34.
I mean, he's had fantastic teams. You know, you can't, it's not easy to win 3 straight ACC tournaments, or titles. So he's been incredible, but he is a fantastic coach, and he says he's having to make the adjustments with the squad in order to impact them and get them to play the Wolfpack way.
And Camille Hobby with a rejection down low. They'll stick with Virginia. And the bar is so high at NC State, like you mentioned, Fallon. 3 straight tournament titles, back-to-back NCAA tournaments. They've been the #1 seed, or A1 seed, I should say. They went to the Elite 8 for just the 2nd time in school history last year and played an unbelievable game against UConn. Turnover on Virginia's end. Johnson. Just over 90 seconds left in the first quarter. A little too far south. Clarkson Taylor contesting on Boyd. And so key for them to defend without fouling. A good job.
It was a good job because that was a lot of bumping down low between Boyd and Taylor. Taylor falls to the ground, but fortunately she doesn't get called for anything.
These teams have combined 0 for 7 from 3 so far, but Virginia's been extremely effective inside the 3-point arc, shooting 50%. Taylor with a quick move and a finish off the window.
That was a nice move. She faked like she was going to pass to Smith before dribbling hard to the basket. Fools her defender and gets a wide open layup.
Cross lane pass, count the basket. Jada Boyd at the free throw line.
And Jada Boyd was pretty hyped after finishing at the basket on her birthday. But we see this pass right here in the defense by Taylor and Clarkson. And then this nice dribble move, fake. Taylor takes it strong to the basket herself with the finish. Those were two good possessions by UVA on the defensive end and on the offensive end.
That was the first foul on Camryn Taylor. She and Taylor Valladay will head to the bench. Kaydan Lawson returns along with London Clarkson, and Boyd completes three-point play. No surprise, she shoots over 90% from the line this year. 45 seconds left in the first quarter. Dale tries to feed it to Clarkson. Deflected by James. 3-on-1. Isaiah James can't get the roll. And now Smith whips back the other way. Good hands by Diamond Johnson.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
Running suicides here in the final minute.
Yeah, this has been back and forth, but great pick of the pocket by Diamond Johnson from behind. And then that caused that fast break for NC State. They had an opportunity but couldn't score at the rim, but they do have another opportunity out of bounds.
Right side, and Jada Boyd heating up. And a little something to say.
She did to the ref.
Yeah, to the referee.
She's looking for the and one. It's physical down there in the paint. Nothing's coming easy for either of these teams.
Tied at 12. Final 10 seconds of the opening quarter. The freshman Yanta Vaughn with it. A ball screen. Back to Lawson. Triggers a three. No. Smith. Can she get it back up? No. And that's going to end the first quarter. So tied at 12. Virginia, NC State. Cavaliers trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. And so far they're even with number 22 NC State. Sunday afternoon.
But these teams are getting after it. You can tell that this is a big game for both teams.
So Virginia with possession out of the break. Taylor Valladay returns to the floor after getting a spell there in the final minute. Yanta Vaughn, who was high school teammates for a year with Jakia Brown-Turner at Bishop McNamara over in Baltimore. London Clarkson down the left side, and a traveling violation before the contact. Turnover for Virginia.
And that was solid defense by NC State in the paint, making it difficult for Clarkson to score as she penetrated.
It's now been 5 straight quarters found without a three-pointer for NC State. This is a team that's among the top teams in the ACC in three-point shooting. That one won't fall.
Right, as a team, they shoot around 33-34% from behind the arc. And to have a game like they did against Wake where they didn't hit 1-3, Coach Moore, he said again, that has never happened since he's been coach of NC State. But in this conference, anything can happen. The teams are just so competitive and good in this league.
Valladay down the right side, can't get the roll. And seized by Virginia on the glass. Good work by Kaydan Lawson boxing out. She'll try a triple, and she connects.
That was a great job by Lawson. After she's fighting and battling with Hobby in the paint for that rebound, establishes herself from behind the arc and is able to knock down a big-time three.
Yeah, she was shooting below 30% from distance this year. That was a pure shot, though. Cross court, the answer. Rattles in and out. Maddie Hayes can't get it to go. Free throw line jumper. Rebound cleared by Hayes. Up and running again.
These teams are letting it fly. NC State was trying to get something in transition, but having to set up their offense.
Johnson, her three-pointer clangs off the rim, and now a foul on the floor, and they're going to get Camille Hobby as she tied up Clarkson.
Well, we saw what she and Clarkson were going through a few possessions ago, fighting for the rebound when Hobby fell out of bounds. So it's been pretty chippy in the paint between these players. And we see it right there. They were battling. They get tied up, but Hobby gets called for the foul.
Another promising sign for Virginia is that London Clarkson and Camryn Taylor have a combined just 1 foul.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure Coach Mox, if she's looking at that stat sheet, she is happy about that.
Virginia 3-point lead in the basketball. Valladay retreats. And here you have it, the two high school teammates guarding each other. Brown Turner was there, Yonta Vaughn's freshman year at Bishop McNamara when Vaughn started. And an offensive foul on Taylor Valladay.
And that's a great job by Baldwin, holding her position. Saw that Valladay was coming to the paint, stood her ground, and takes the charge. See it right here. Valladay gets loose, but Baldwin was right there, had the positioning, the right call by the ref.
Got to look at head coach Amuka Gugwa-Hamilton. Coach Mox, as she's known here on the grounds. Brown Turner's three, no. And Virginia's another rebound. Wolfpack got a lid on that basket.
They do. The last two threes by the Wolfpack have looked good. They just can't get them to fall.
They've now missed 17 straight as a team this week. They thought maybe playing in this arena might help them out. Valladay, three-pointer short. Rebound corralled by Hayes. Virginia set an NCAA record a few years back in this building, hitting their first 13 three-pointers. Rivers, finally.
She shakes her head. Kind of like the old Michael Jordan, like, I don't know where this came from. But Rivers is able to hit the first three for NC State in 2 games.
And she is not a three-point shooter. She's below 25% of the year. There you have it, 1 for 18 so far the last couple of games for NC State. And now the Wolfpack with the score tied. They've leaned on their defense. It's important to stress they won on Thursday night because of their defense. Turnover as Hayes walked.
They certainly did, and their offense was not going against Wake, you know, but Coach Moore talked about the job that Rivers did, especially against Wake's best player in Spears, holding her to 11 points for that game on 5 of 24 shooting. So he has been so impressed with Rivers. That's why she's in this starting lineup. He thinks that she's the best two-way player they have and can get it going on the defensive end, and we see what she can do on the offensive end with that last 3.
As you can see, NC State has tightened the screws defensively the last couple of minutes. Off to Vaughn. Taylor, 18-footer won't go. Rivers the rebound. Well, she has been all over the glass, Fallon. 7 rebounds, all off the defensive glass.
She's so long. I want to know where her wingspan is, the way she flies for those rebounds.
And an offensive rebound corralled by beg your pardon, Hayes that time. Coming up empty on the second chance look there. Here comes McKenna Dale. She'll bring it across the court, accelerating. Lawson's 3 won't fall. Neither team having much success.
That was a good look for Lawson. Taylor got it to her quickly. Woo, travel.
You're on it, Fallon.
When you see it, you just spot on. I'm just waiting for the ref to call it. And they got it. But it's been a few of those this afternoon by NC State.
Well, that's the 3rd time Madison Hayes has traveled today. She averages less than a turnover a game. That's not necessarily her problem normally, but
they're just playing too fast, too quick. You got to jump stop before you make that move, and that'll eliminate the travel calls.
The Hoos have missed their last 5 shots. Each team with just 3 points so far in the second quarter. Taylor weaving into the paint with the right hand off the glass.
I love it. She uses her ball handling skills or dribbling ability to get to the basket and uses her body very well. And we've seen it at least on 2 or 3 possessions this afternoon where she's able to get a score.
And another missed 3-pointer saved by Jakia Brown-Turner. Long pass down to the low block. Hayes can't finish from point blank. A battle on the floor. And they'll say Taylor's back was out of bounds. NC State basketball. Well, Coach Moore said it was the toughest season of his head coaching career. And it's been another tough start for NC State opponents. According to the current top 25, Fallon,
night, someone can lose, and it just gives each of these teams a great opportunity to build a resume for the postseason, and I don't see how 8 or 9 teams do not come out and make it into the NCAA tournament this year.
Well, we still got 3 more weeks left of basketball, including conference tournaments, but right now, ACC projected to have 8 teams in, and Syracuse is among the first 4 out. A win in South Bend this afternoon would do wonders for the Orange in their resume.
It sure will, and they have a great team in the scoring affair for that squad. Syracuse is a tough opponent.
Vaughn's 3, jacked up and down the well. Yonta Vaughn hits the second 3 of the afternoon for Virginia.
Coach Mox talked about her and just trying to get her adjusted to the flow of college basketball, especially in the ACC, where she's used to playing as a high schooler, getting a lot of minutes. So this has been an adjustment for her.
River Baldwin with the left hand. She works through the contact on Dale.
And that was good positioning. Baldwin used her body to seal Dale off, and Brown Turner makes the nice entry pass. Baldwin was able to get the and one.
So McKenna Dale to the bench. She picked up her second foul. Camryn Taylor returns. Baldwin, a 54% free throw shooter. That won't go. Taylor's got the rebound. Taylor with half of Virginia's points so far today. They've got a 3-point lead. Clarkson in the high post, dribbles through, long 2 for Smith, and she buries it.
And I love what Vaughn did on that possession. She was directing traffic as the point guard, telling Smith where to go. And Smith ends up with a wide open corner shot.
Not playing like a freshman.
No, not at all.
Making her 7th straight start. Collins is long 2, no. The rebound belongs to Clarkson. Meanwhile, NC State, they've got no points from Diamond Johnson so far, their leading scorer. Lawson, elbow jumper off the back of the rim. Rebound secured by Isaiah James. Trying to get Johnson going. Pops a jumper, and there it is. First 2 points of the afternoon.
Well, we know Diamond Johnson can score the basketball. It's just trying to get herself in a rhythm. And that was a big-time hit for Johnson in NC State.
She'd taken just 2 shots before that. Creeping in on 1,000 career points. At the moment, she's got 990. Clarkson up and under down the lane. And a beautiful finish.
And she's like counting that in the and one. A lot of body. I love it. These refs are letting, especially the post players down low, really play this afternoon.
I got to think that works to Virginia's advantage given their lack of post depth.
It does.
James, the jumper, well short of the air ball, and it's going to be a foul on Camryn Taylor. That's her second.
We just
did.
I mean, that's a tough loss if she has to go to the bench. We see it right here, the missed jump shot. She was looking for a body to box out and instead commits the foul. And that's tough for Coach Mox and her squad, but UVA, they've been hit with a couple of gut punches by NC State, but they've continued to battle in this one.
And what a steal. Alexia Smith soaring across the baseline, saves it to Lawson.
That was an athletic move. Then Lawson just dribbles it out of bounds, gives it right back, and you can't have those turnovers. But that's just a lapse in judgment after a great defensive play by Smith to recover that basketball.
Both teams already with 7 turnovers, just under 2 minutes left in the first half. Virginia, the largest lead for either side so far. And James, it's a foul away from the ball. It's going to be on the screen. Or going up against the screen, rather, I think, on Kaydan Lawson. Virginia thought it was a moving screen.
No, Boyd was established. It was just Lawson was trying to get through that screen and ends up committing a foul.
And again, because of that lack of depth, Virginia has just 8 players, only 2 true forwards. Both McKenna Dale and Lawson are going to be on the floor with 2 fouls here at the end of the first half. Boyd, kick out, James, 3, yes.
Wide open, good look and penetration by Boyd to find James wide open for her first 3 of the game.
Second 3 for State, only their 9th basket. of this first half, shooting below 30% so far today. Clarkson spins, walled off, acrobatic lean and fire.
I mean, for her to keep her pivot foot established on that court and make a move like she did, that was incredible. And
yeah, and that time was Kaydan Lawson into the seats.
Flying. She's trying to do her best Smith impersonation with that one. We see this Clarkson move right at River Baldwin, and with the finish, she is hyped after knocking down that shot.
Well, she and Baldwin were teammates a couple years ago at Florida State. I bet they went up against each other a time or two in practice.
They definitely did. She definitely knows her positioning and probably how Baldwin likes to play defense, but that was a big finish by her on the offensive end.
So Dale back to the bench. Katie Pauley checking in here for the final minute plus. Ooh, nothing but net on that long jumper from Brown Turner.
And Brown Turner's capable of scoring like that. I love her versatility. That was a nice jump shot. All net, left hand.
One of 5 players averaging over 8 points a game for NC State. Free throw line, Jay, no. Johnson the rebound. NC State a chance to tie it up.
And NC State needs to establish some good momentum going into halftime.
In the far corner. Spin. And an offensive foul. They'll say Boyd was out of control, and London Clarkson pumping both her fists as she lays flat on her back.
And Clarkson, that was a great positioning. She was right there, saw Boyd coming and stepped up to take that charge. Got there in time according to the referee, but that is a big-time play and call for UVA on the defensive end. So now they get an opportunity to see if they could get something going to close out the half.
Virginia's lost 7 straight. This is their 7th game this year against a top 25 team. And they've got a 2-point edge in the final seconds of this first half.
Yeah, this is crazy. Both teams already played every player on their bench. Big time play by Smith and finish off the glass.
Alexia Smith's got 6 points. Her season average is 5. Final 3 seconds. Johnson hoisted high, short at the buzzer.
Wow, you can't say much more, especially after Smith hits the big shot, comes and plays some great defense against Johnson to close out the half.
And Virginia, they had a lead on Thursday night against Louisville, couldn't hold it. They lead number 22 NC State 28-24. He said it's been the most challenging season of his coaching career. This is his 34th season, by the way. And they're in another battle this afternoon on the road in Charlottesville, a place where they've played really well lately, but not so far this afternoon. They've won 4 straight in this building, but shot below 30% in the first half. And they start with the basketball to begin the third quarter. Jakia Brown-Turner's 3. Well off the mark. The rebound belongs to Valladay.
And that was good defense by UVA. Great rotations getting out on Brown-Turner on that 3-point shot.
Kaydan Lawson's 3, no, and we've got an early foul. That's going to be on McKenna Dale, her 3rd.
And that's something that Coach Mox, again, does not want to see. Her, bench is a bit depleted due to injuries, but she is very short-staffed with her post players. But right now, UVA in the first half outscoring NC State 18-12 with points in the paint. And that's something that's big, especially with this depleted lineup for UVA.
That's now 9 turnovers so far today for NC State. Coach Moore shaking his head. They haven't shot the ball well, and they really haven't taken care of it very well either today. And for Virginia, for a team that's post-oriented, to be down 2 of your top 3 post players, and Sam Brunell and Mira McLean, both out for the season now. This is a pretty gritty performance they put together, led by Camryn Taylor, only player in double figures for either side. But you got to give Coach Mox a lot of credit for what they put forth so far today. At the end of the shot clock, that shot falls short from Taylor. Ooh, I don't know who that was intended for. I think Rivers patting herself on the chest saying
that was
overshot Boyd. Yep.
But like you said, Coach Mox, her team right now is just playing in attack mode, exactly what she wants them to do. That was the key for UVA in this game, to continue to attack and be aggressive and we've seen it so far in this game.
And it was right around this time Thursday night on this floor against Louisville. They had a 10-point lead and then surrendered a 12-0 run. It was with about 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And they keep it going here. Turnover, maybe. Nope, they'll stick with Virginia.
Wow, that was an interesting play. You saw Hobby trying to get the basketball and save it. Clarkson last minute gets over there and doesn't touch it as it goes out of bounds.
So Yantafan will inbound from the baseline to Taylor. Squares up and hits.
Oh, that's a big time shot by Taylor. Had the positioning and just faced up on Boyd and knocks down a difficult baseline jump shot.
It's her 9th consecutive game in double figures. She's got 12. Boyd spinning. Hobby out to Diamond Johnson, who's been quiet so far. Has it stripped loose, collects, reverse, and the foul, Jada Boyd.
That's big time. We talk about Johnson being quiet offensively. That pass to Boyd for that lay-in. We see this right here, this pass to Camryn Taylor. She faces up on Boyd, knocks down the baseline J, and Diamond Johnson just drops a dime to the cutting Boyd, and Boyd finishes at the rim and gets the ankle.
Alexia Smith will replace Camryn Taylor for the time being. Boyd has hit 43 of 47 free throws this year. 1 for 1 today. And now 3 fouls on Camryn Taylor. And this almost becomes a little bit of a race against the clock, right? Fouling is plenty of time left, of course. But that's part of the problem for Virginia is they've already got 3 fouls on Taylor, 3 on Dale, and 2 on Kaydan Lawson. Dale and Lawson, makeshift post players, if you will, listed as guards. Taylor Valladay, she's not in foul trouble, but she hits from inside the free throw line.
And that was an athletic move. She changed her body mid-air, able to gather herself and finish at the rim. And we talk about her defense. She's done a good job this afternoon on Diamond Johnson, who's been very quiet offensively.
Down low to Hobby on the right side. Double team. Healy still got the shot to fall. Virginia's lead at 5. Trailing 3. Yes! Kaydan Lawson drills it.
And we talked about that with Coach Mock. She said she was going to put Lawson in the starting lineup to create some mismatches with NC State, and it has, because she's more of a guard than a post player. We've seen it with the three-pointers she's been able to knock down this afternoon.
Largest lead of the afternoon for Virginia. And that's going to be a foul on London Clarkson. One more look at this catch and shoot 3.
Yeah, Valladay decides to penetrate, kick, routine play. Lawson's able to knock down the 3, get set. It's a big shot by Lawson.
That's her second 3 today. That last foul, the first on Clarkson, but already 3 for Virginia in the third quarter. Another turnover. 2-on-1. Smith waits, rises, and picks up the 2.
And that was a smart play by Alexia Smith, the junior. Gives a nice head fake to get Rivers in the air and is able to finish that shot. And UVA has all the momentum right now.
The Hoos have stretched their lead to double digits. Virginia looking to snap their losing streak.
Won the game the way they did, not to take away anything from NC State and what they're capable of doing, but Virginia is just better prepared this afternoon and ready to play.
Well, and that's what makes it all the more startling to see Virginia outscoring NC State's bench 12-5. One of the defining traits of NC State this year is their balanced scoring. I mean, they've got 7 different players averaging 7 points a game, and they've gotten just 5 points off their bench. Meanwhile, Virginia, they've got some good production off the bench.
Right. And like you said, NC State has a balanced attack on the offensive end. Any given night, it can be somebody else leading them in scoring in the scoring column. But this afternoon, Virginia has figured out the recipe, and they have not allowed NC State to score points in this game.
And cutting down the baseline, Taylor Valladay. The lead is 12.
And Valladay is lightning quick. Once she saw that gap and that opening to the hole, she was ready to attack and able to knock down the layup.
And that tells the story right there. Since Camryn Taylor stepped away, Virginia's hit all 4 of their shots. If they can score without her on the floor, look out.
Exactly, because she's a big piece that kept them in the game in the first half.
And a great weak side baseline pass to a cutting River Baldwin. It's a good answer by NC State.
It is, and Coach Moore said it. Every team is giving NC State their best punch because they know what NC State brings to the table. They know their resume, and they know how big of a victory this could be if they can get a win this afternoon at home.
And he's touched on it. They have the right pieces. They just haven't gotten into gel yet. And he told us, you know, they're running out of time in the regular season to make that happen. One more look at this last sequence.
Yeah, it was a nice swing pass by Smith. Valladay saw the opening and took it right to River Baldwin, laid it in.
Well, we'll have to get Taylor Valladay's answer.
Rebounds in this game and just holding UVA to 5, which is something that UVA does well usually.
Right out of the timeout, the baseline inbounds leads to Kaydan Lawson's 3rd three-pointer. The lead is 13, and I was just about to remark that it's eerily similar to what we saw Thursday when Virginia led 38-28. They gave up a 12-0 run. They're putting the Wolfpack in a tough spot with a 12-2 run of their own.
They are. And I'm sure Coach Mox is happy to see it. Right now, the mismatch problems that Lawson is causing NC State. A guard playing a post this afternoon, but really stretching Virginia's offense by knocking down some big-time threes.
At first, Coach Moore thought the foul was going to be against Mimi Collins. Instead, it goes against Taylor Valladay. That's her 2nd. And that'll put NC State in the bonus the rest of the way here in the 3rd quarter. And that foul count of grave concern for Coach Mox, given their short bench. The steal, what effort by Taylor Valladay.
Great effort right there by Vaughn to get that basketball, got it to Lawson so she could keep the possession. And right now, Virginia has all of the momentum. They have it clicking on all cylinders, offensively and defensively.
And they're doing it without Camryn Taylor, their leading scorers on the bench with 3 fouls.
That's what's so crazy. You wouldn't even expect to see this type of showing with her on the bench.
3 seconds to shoot. Does Smith realize that she does at the horn? It's off the right side of the rim. Rebound cleared by James. State's got to get some shots falling here.
They do, or get in attack mode and get to the basket so they can draw some fouls. Like you said, they're in the bonus now, so they'll get free throws.
James, no look. Baldwin cross court. Rivers pops a 3. No, Clarkson the rebound.
And Virginia is just holding NC State to 1 shot.
Oh, Taylor Valladay.
With the left hand at the rim.
Excuse me. And I think that's going to be Lawson reaching in. God, one more look at Taylor Valladay. Talk about stepping on the gas.
She did. She hit a different speed, a different level going to the hole. 2 players, Rivers right there, and she's able to finesse that ball to the rim with the left hand. You see Brunel with the muscle.
With the flex.
The flex.
And Taylor Valladay, she didn't need to flex much.
Nah, she has some guns out there.
She does.
Yeah, she has the guns, but she is an incredible athlete, and we're seeing an impressive showing by her this afternoon.
So a 14-2 run. Mimi Collins misses the first free throw. 14-2 run for Virginia. Lawson and Taylor and Dale all with 3 fouls, though. As Collins hits the 2nd. NC State just 3 of 6 from the line so far. Beg your pardon, 4 of 7 now. Virginia hasn't gotten to the line. They haven't needed to.
No, they haven't, and it's crazy. It's competitive and as feisty this game has been. These teams have been competing.
And that's 4 on Kaydan Lawson. If you didn't catch it there at the top of your screen as that foul was called offensive, and you could see Camryn Taylor on the bench, put both of the hands on her head, holding up 4 fingers. I mean, this entire Virginia team acutely aware of the problems that the foul trouble cost them on Thursday night. They were tied with Louisville, but once both Clarkson and Taylor fouled out, Louisville pulled away with ease.
And this is a time that NC State needs to capitalize on that. Lawson hit a couple of big threes, or has hit some big threes in this game. Now she's to the bench. They need to see what they can make happen.
And there's a foul on Clarkson. And that'll put Isaiah James to the line. Like you were saying, Fallon, good job of attacking the basket.
And that was a good decision by James. When you don't see or have anything going offensively, just attack. Go straight to the basket and see what you can make happen, and she's able to draw the foul.
It's now 2 on Clarkson. And there you have it. Kaydan Lawson, McKenna Dale, who are guards being forced to play in the post because of lack of depth. And then Camryn Taylor, their leading scorer. And they're going to go to the monitor, maybe reviewing either. It looked pretty clear to me the foul was going to be on Clarkson, maybe a flagrant or something like that. That's all I can guess.
Who knows, but I guess they're trying to evaluate to make sure they get it right. And on the replay, you see James go into the basket. 3 players on her, but looks like Clarkson with the foul to me. Oh, okay. So now they do get the foul on Clarkson instead of the wrong player.
Oh, so they had it. I got it. Okay. So Isaiah James at the line, playing in her home state out of Virginia Beach. She's a product of Princess Anne High School. If you know anything about girls basketball in Virginia, you know Princess Anne. They won 8 straight state championships before they were ousted last year, snapped the streak.
Yeah, that's a streak.
Yeah, let the record show Isaiah James was at NC State last year. She was not a part of the team that snapped the streak. She won all 4 when she was there. And leaves the free throw short.
This crowd is into this game. UVA has a great crowd assisting them this afternoon, making it difficult for James to knock down these free throws.
Free bacon if she misses this one. Oh, she makes it.
Oh, man, the free bacon, Smithfield.
Yeah, they've got that promotion in the second half. The opponent misses back-to-back free throws. And now a full court press and a trap. And I think, yep, Virginia called timeout. This feels kind of like an inflection point here, Fallon. NC State trying to go on their run. Virginia, can they avoid the pitfall they fell into when they let Louisville launch that 12-0 run on Thursday? Yeah, for NC State, it's not just a matter of trying to get a win for the ACC standings. They're trying to host the first round of the tournament. And here's a look at the bubble of teams that are trying to get above that 4-seed line and host the first round. And you look at some resumes. There are 3 ACC teams, and NC State and Virginia Tech, they'll be meeting a little later on the next couple of weeks. That'll be a big game as far as the host bubble's concerned. And that strength of schedule jumps off the page for NC State. The problem is their conference record is so.
Yeah, right now just barely over 500 at 7-6 in the league, but it just talks about how competitive, again, this league is, and they're battling. It's so important. You want to host, especially a home game in the first round if you can, to have your fans there. NC State has incredible fans that show up for them all around the country, but a home game is always big in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's been a little while since they haven't had one of those.
Yeah.
They were a 1 seed each of the last 2 tournaments. So Virginia out of the timeout. We got to get it over, and they're not going to get it. 10-second call.
Wow, and that's the first we've seen NC State press full court all afternoon, and we see how it just worked wonders for them to cause that turnover.
And now the key for NC State, they got to knock down some shots.
They do. Or continue to attack and knock down shots at the free throw line. If they can stop the clock and continue to score, it's going to be important.
Going to the lane, Boyd can't finish. 2.5 to play in the third quarter. Taylor Valladay, he's got 8 points tonight, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. She's had a complete game. Ball in her hands. Let's fly a long 2, and she connects.
Hey, she has it going right now. She is in a zone, and like you said, filling up the box score, clicking on all cylinders for UVA.
She hadn't had a double-digit scoring effort in weeks. She now has back-to-back double-digit games. Good high-low pass and the foul. answer for NC State as they try and hang around here, trailing by 15.
Right, and that's a good play by Collins. She's been quiet this afternoon. James finds her, nice lob pass, and she's able to finish over Dale and draw the foul.
That's the 4th foul on McKenna Dale. London Clarkson is back in. Virginia has had 2 games this year in which they've led by double digits and then gone on to lose. One was Thursday night against Louisville, the other against North Carolina.
Well, this is another test for Coach Mox and her team. She said they have to be able to handle those gut punches that teams give them when they make comebacks or runs. And they have to rise to the occasion and continue to compete and battle and see if they can finish a game and get a win. It's to be a big home win if they could make it happen this afternoon against NC State.
And you know Coach Mox is hyper-focused on that foul count, making sure that her bench is on the same page as the official book.
Right, you don't want to have that messed up, especially if this game is tight at the end as it starts to wind down in the next quarter in the 4th.
And I think there's a little bit of a question of how many fouls are on McKenna Dale. Virginia says she has 4. We had her with 4. But maybe a little bit of a question if there might have been a 5th in there. That's what they're reviewing right now is does she have 5?
Yeah, and Coach Moore was saying the same thing. He was saying 4 as well. So it's important. They have to get it right because Dale has been an important player for Virginia, especially on the defensive end this afternoon. And they need all the bodies they can get in this game as they continue to battle against NC State, who is being more aggressive and starting to attack and get points in the paint.
And Coach Mox couldn't praise Dale enough. Her all-in attitude. She's playing the 4. She has 4 fouls, by the way, but playing the 4. She's never done that in her life.
Right, and that's the same thing with her, and we said it with Lawson. 2 players that are usually guards for this squad, but due to this depleted bench and lack of post players, they've had to step up and play different roles, and that's when your numbers call. You got to step up.
Ooh, and a gamble steal there from Collins. Instead, it's 2-on-1 for Virginia. Smith misses the layup. Long rebound, Rivers.
Bad decision by Smith. She had a 3-on-1. She should have passed it.
And Rivers misses her layup in the rebound to Virginia. Here comes Valladay. A foot race ahead. Lays it in. The lead's back to 14.
I don't know too many players that catch up to Valladay. She's so fast getting down the court.
Final 90 seconds to go along with those 12 points and 5 rebounds. Valladay also with 5 assists, only 2 turns. Great game for the senior from Chicago. Kick out, big 3, no. And battling for the board, tapped around, Smith's got it. Jada Boyd, she can't hit the 3, neither can any member of the Wolfpack. They're 2 for 15, coming off an 0 for 10 effort their last time out. And before the shot, too many steps for Clarkson.
That was a good job by Collins, just kind of stepping away, and it forced Clarkson, pulled the chair out of her from under her and made her lose her footing down low. It was a good job by Collins, and she gets called for the travel.
Clarkson was contending that right arm might have wrapped around her shoulder.
Well, we talked about it from NC State. Even though they had a win against Wake, they lost 2 games before that. That broke a 2-game losing streak for them. They've had difficult finding ways to score.
Rivers 3 too strong. Offensive rebound, no. Second chance, third chance, fourth chance. And a jump ball underneath. And the possession belongs to Virginia with 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
This is a fight, but that's how you have to compete if you're UVA and you want to get a win and end your losing streak. They've lost 7 in a row, and they're trying to make something happen. You hate to see or continue to see your team lose. But Coach Mox said something about this squad. They've been resilient. They haven't gotten down, even with the injuries being depleted. They continue to come to practice to prepare and be ready to fight in battles like this afternoon.
And they've had every excuse to throw in the towel this year. Injuries, the schedule, a first-year coach. I mean, every reason. And now Smith gets poked in the eye.
Yeah.
But they haven't done it.
They haven't.
And they've had some really gutting losses, too. I mean, Thursday was a killer. And to come back out against a top 25 team and shrug your shoulders and say, let's get back to work. I mean, I really think that speaks to Coach Mox's spirit. Top of the arc three, Lawson, no. And look at Smith. Jitterbugging trying to get that rebound. It belongs to NC State. 6 seconds. Collins got to hurry down to Boyd at the final seconds as she lays it in. It's a 12-point deficit, 10 minutes to play for NC State. The Wahoo faithful on their feet here at JPJ, and why shouldn't they be? Their Cavaliers giving number 22 NC State all they can handle. I mean, it's pretty simple. They've scored 12 points each of the first 3 quarters. Unless they plan on pitching a shutout here to force overtime, they're going to need a bigger offensive effort in these final 10 minutes.
They need, and they're going to need players like Boyd, James, Brown Turner when she's back in, Rivers. They have to step up. We said Diamond Johnson. Oh, she's been so quiet this afternoon.
And she will go to the line.
Yes, that's how she has to be aggressive, and maybe this could get her going, get 3 shots at the free throw line, and Coach Moore talking to her on that last play about how it was drawn up. But she has to be aggressive offensively. We know what she can do to keep her teammates involved and what she's capable of doing on the defensive end, having quick hands and getting steals. But they need her scoring this afternoon.
Johnson hits the first free throw, and boy, Coach Mox told us yesterday, Fallon, that look, some fouls that have been called on Clarkson and Taylor, she's okay with. They've been playing aggressive defense, playing hard. And then there have been another couple they said we've got to cut out those unnecessary ones. That felt a little unnecessary there.
Yeah, especially you never want to foul a 3-point shooter. And somebody like Johnson, who hasn't really been scoring this afternoon, but this right here, she knocks down 3 free throws, can hopefully for NC State get her going.
Yeah, 85% free throw shooter on the year. She's got just 5 points today, averages a team best 13 points. Coach Moore might say she has room to add to that total whenever she feels she can here in this 4th quarter. Valladay drops her shoulder, backs up. Good defense by Rivers. 6 seconds to shoot. And they're going to get Isaiah James. She was pestering Camryn Taylor.
And they're fortunate, NC State is, because Yanta Vine was cutting the baseline and no one was guarding her. I think it was some miscommunication between Johnson and James. They have to be really on point in this 4th quarter defensively and not give up any easy baskets.
First offensive possession for Virginia in this 4th quarter. Vaughn down the left side. Teardrop. Oh, halfway down and out. Batted back by Clarkson. Valladay's got the rebound.
And we just talked about how Virginia has not been getting a lot of offensive rebounds this afternoon. That might be the biggest one this afternoon.
So with a fresh clock, that 3-pointer way short. Ahead to Diamond Johnson. Hangs, left it short. Great defensive contest by Alexia Smith.
That was getting back right there, making Diamond Johnson go up well before she needed to for that layup and had to adjust in the air and shot it short.
A foul on Camille Hobby. That's her second. She's the only member of the pack with multiple fouls, so they're in a good place beginning this 4th quarter. More press employed by NC State. Vaughn got 2 seconds, got to get over. They do. Smith, eyes in the back of her head. Saw Johnson creeping up behind her.
That's a good job by NC State, taking some time off the clock, forcing Virginia to try and score in their half-court set.
3 seconds to shoot. Valladay, wild shot, and it's in. That was a 2-hand scoop.
Well, it doesn't even matter if you have offense like Valladay just put on that last possession.
And they're going to get Valladay for that foul.
Yeah, she tries to get back on Johnson after hitting a smooth lay-in, and we see it, shot clock winding down. A foul could have been called on James on that move, but she's able to finish at the basket.
Entry from the baseline, and Isaiah James gets the roll and lets out a roar.
Right, that possession was not pretty. You had 2 bodies on the floor, and James had to make something happen, shooting over the two players on the floor and able to score the basket.
And Diamond Johnson with the steal. The press yielding opportunities for NC State and yielding points.
And that's exactly what NC State needs. You see this bench fired up now. NC State getting some momentum with 2 steals or 2 big buckets. And you see it right here. Coach Moore usually shaking his head, but a little smile after those last 2 possessions. Big steal right here by Diamond Johnson. She's able to pass it up to the floor to James with a nice lay-in.
And NC State's come out these first 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. They've landed a blow.
And it's because they've been applying full court pressure on these out-of-bounds plays against UVA, and they've been causing turnovers or creating offense. So you see they're back out here, full court pressure, trying to see if they can get another steal.
And Coach Mox told us NC State will punch at some point. The question is, can we land a counter punch? To Taylor, they get it across and break the press. Step 1.
And that's a huge step. You know, once they get into half court, can set up their offensive sets. They've been pretty good this afternoon.
Alexia Smith curling inside the scoop. It's blocked by Boyd.
She said, not today. That was great defensive help by Boyd. Jada Boyd was just watching it, gets the timing right, and is able to get a huge block shot against Smith.
Not on my birthday. Boyd turning 22 this afternoon. Her teammate, Jakia Brown-Turner, turned 22 yesterday. 8 seconds to shoot. Valladay pops way offline. Air ball into the baseline.
Yeah, that's not her shot. I mean, if she's wide open for that 3, she's going to knock it down. But her game, like it's been all afternoon, is being aggressive and attacking the basket.
She's got a game-high 14 points. Rivers brings it across the timeline. Around the corner, Johnson scoops it high. It'll stick with NC State off the fingertips of a Cavalier.
And I'm telling you, these referees have let them play. It's been a lot of contact, very chippy in the paint. You see Diamond Johnson gets up kind of gingerly looking for the foul, but hey, Taylor was just straight up, not trying to commit another foul, but the 2 of them right there. That was a lot of bodies knocking around in the paint.
Jada Boyd might have had her fingertips last on the ball. I don't know, that was close. Johnson pumps a 3 with the left. James, too strong, and Camryn Taylor boxes out and makes a little basket catch on the rebound. Got to get it to Valladay, they do.
Moving.
Oh my, a moving screen on Taylor. That's 4, a huge call.
And it's the right call. She wasn't set. Trying to help Valladay get the basketball across half court. She sees Boyd riding her, but she hadn't gotten her feet set in order to set that screen, and the ref was right there to make the call. Tough.
I think Camryn Taylor disagrees. That
she does.
She thought she had her feet down. So NC State trailing by 7. They have the basketball. Boyd misses from the right side of the lane. And Jada Boyd picks up the foul a long way from the basket. It's only her second.
That's not a foul you want to commit, even though she's not in foul trouble. But that far away from the basket, you don't want to foul a player. But it does give NC State an opportunity to set up their full court press again, so maybe they can get something going out of this.
Into Taylor. Boyd on phase. They get it across to Smith. Virginia trying to kill some clock here. They want to limit the possessions in this one. Not so much because they're ahead, but just because of the foul trouble.
Right.
Taylor inside the arc. She hits cash. That's a big shot.
Oh, that was a big shot. Such confidence. As soon as she got it, she released it. I think she knew it was going down.
She's got 14 points, but just 4 in the second half.
Well, the foul trouble has had her on the bench where she hasn't been able to be as aggressive as she was in the first half.
And an offensive foul on Isaiah James. Fearless play there by Clarkson.
It's crazy. You go to the basket, you're looking for the foul, but all we've seen is a bunch of offensive fouls, and we see, yep, the push-off. You can't extend that elbow. Clarkson is right there.
Ooh. toenails. Taylor Valladay keeps it in bounds. State nearly forces the turnover. Taylor still got it. And it's to Valladay, but she's right at midcourt. And Coach Knox wants a timeout.
They need it. Valladay was so fortunate. That pass she threw to Camryn Taylor, it could have caused her to pick up her 5th, trying to save it. But fortunately, Virginia still has the possession. And Coach Fox is like, we need to talk about this one.
and she told us it was around this time against Louisville. The game was tied at 50. And both Clarkson and Taylor foul out. And that, in a lot of ways, was the ball game.
That
Louisville
was.
Won by 10.
And she doesn't want that happening for a second time in a row this afternoon. And we see Camryn Taylor on the floor hustling, trying to save this possession for her team. She knows how important it is. And Valladay is swarmed by NC State players. Coach Mox able to call the timeout to save the possession. And they have good time on the shot clock to get something going in their half-court set. 17 seconds left.
You can see her last instructions. They broke the huddle. Don't call timeout. We've only got 1 left. Don't call timeout. But, Fallon, it's a good point you made, because it's not just about Camryn Taylor realizing she has 4 fouls. Her teammates need to know, too, not to put her in a bad spot.
Right. And that was just a pass. I think Valladay was trying to get it over the pressure she was being faced with, trying to get the basketball across half court. But you got to settle down, make the right decision in the right play.
Virginia still with a 9-point lead here. Taylor will go to the line. These will be Virginia's first free throws of the day. Is that one?
And I like it. I mean, we said it. Taylor has 4 fouls, but she's now being aggressive again on the offensive end. She understands how important her scoring is for her team. Being one of the top scorers, or the leading scorer for this squad right now in UVA.
74% free throw shooter. Drilled the first one. Transferred from Marquette in her 2nd season at Virginia. A team that won just 5 games last year. It's got off to a 12-0 start this year. This would be a huge win in her time at UVA. Misses the second. Rivers gets the rebound. Wolfpack, will they press? Settle into the half court. And Valladay reaches in. Gets the steal, and then the foul on Jada Boyd. That's her 3rd.
And these are just bad possessions for NC State. I mean, that was just an errant pass. Brown Turner, I mean, Taylor or Valladay was right there and able to get an easy steal based on that pass that was telegraphed by Brown Turner. NC State has to play better, make better decisions on the offensive end. Right now, UVA has them in fits because they can't figure out what they want to do offensively to get some consistent scoring going.
2.5 minute scoring drought for NC State. Valladay misses her first as the Cavaliers are in the bonus. Wolfpack have missed 10 of their last 12 shots. Little instruction there about the extended line of the key. Making sure you don't have a lane violation here. It's not just on the ground.
Right, but these teams are trying to get after it. NC State making sure they want to secure this rebound.
And Valladay misses them both. Just a 63% shooter this year. Boyd denies a ball screen from the top of the key. That won't fall. Lawson gets the rebound one-handed. 10-point lead, 5 minutes to play.
Well, that was good defense by UVA. They forced Jada Boyd into a shot she didn't necessarily want to take, trying to find ways to get to the paint, but it was too clogged in the lane. NC State couldn't get there.
Camryn Taylor a touch too strong. Alexia Smith, the offensive rebound. And a foul called on Taylor, and she's done. That's her 5th.
We said it. She just started playing more aggressively in this 4th, and she is heartbroken at the fact that she is about to foul out of her 2nd straight contest.
Well, you can just see the look on her face.
Yeah, Alexis Smith, they both hustling for this loose ball. Jada Boyd gets caught up in it, and they call the push-off.
What do you see here, Fallon? Right call, you think?
Yeah, she extends that hand. That was the right call.
because it was a big one. And after the missed shot, you see Camryn Taylor, and you feel helpless over there, especially after what she saw.
Yeah, with the last two fouls she picked up. They were two tough calls, you know, with the moving screen that was called against her, and then just hustling for the loose ball, and extends that hand to get Boyd out of the way and gets called for another one.
Rivers' three-pointer won't fall. NC State, they've got Taylor out of the game, but they still got to hit some shots here. Unlike Thursday against Virginia when the game was tied at this juncture, Virginia's got a 10-point cushion. A few more buckets, and they can put themselves still in a good spot to win this one.
And the run they made in the third quarter when Taylor was on the bench, just like that move right there. Big-time play once again by Lawson, who stepped up in that third quarter when Taylor went to the bench.
And Kaydan Lawson back in the starting lineup for the first time in the last 3 weeks. She has come to play. 11 points. That foul's on Jada Boyd. And all of a sudden, she's got 4 fouls. She's picked up some 3 here in the fourth quarter.
Some quick ones. And if she goes to the bench, that's going to be a huge blow for NC State if she picks up her 5th. Big-time free throw by Lawson. She's had a fantastic game for the Cavaliers this afternoon.
Lead is at 13. At NC State, they're getting to the point where they got to go. Three-pointer, no, goodness. The Wolfpack, 2 for 20 from long range. It's going to be Virginia basketball. You can see just the frustration on Boyd's face.
And especially when you hustle trying to get an offensive rebound like she did. And it's been contact all after. And when you see the hustle, she goes in. Looks like it was a little chippy, but she had the basketball as it went out of bounds. So that's the call the ref made.
Yeah, I think she was more looking for a foul call. Yep.
She was, and so was Coach Moore. He was talking to the ref on that baseline, asking why they didn't get the call. But it's been consistent all afternoon. I mean, the lack of calls that the coaches may want to see from the referees. These refs have been letting these teams just compete and get after it. And it's a big game. But it's just been the game all afternoon. And we see it right now, the foul trouble that UVA is in. But they've continued to battle like Coach Mox wanted it to do. They're battling, they're continuing to compete, even getting with the blows of fouls or the foul trouble they've had this afternoon.
It's worth noting, 5 players, 3 more fouls. They have only 8 players available today.
They do.
That's more than half their team in foul trouble.
And everybody has played. Both of these teams have depleted rosters, and they play everybody.
Yeah, NC State with just 9 players in uniform today. Valladay turning around. She draws the foul from Jakia Brown-Turner.
And that was a good decision by Valladay. She thought, or was attempting to make a move to the basket, had a teammate that was open on the baseline, but decides to pull it out and is able to draw the foul going to the free throw line.
So Taylor Valladay, who missed her first 2 free throws earlier in this quarter. And she gets the pounce on that one.
I mean, that's been UVA's luck all afternoon. Got a lucky roll, a lucky bounce, and it goes with how they've played this afternoon to try and secure a home win.
And it belongs to NC State. And foul trouble or no foul trouble. 14 points is a lot of ground to make up. In less than 4 minutes, not going to help with that turnover. Smith to the lane. She puts it in. And it's the largest lead of the day for UVA.
And when you're airing with passes like that, NC State has been doing all afternoon. Great anticipation by Smith to get that steal.
And that kind of sums it up all right there. Pretty good look, but can't hit the shot. NC State just 2 of 11 in this fourth quarter. They have not scored in the last 4.5 minutes.
And that's been the struggle the last 4 games. I mean, the loss to Georgia Tech on the road, and then they lost a tough game to Virginia Tech at home. Now, they were able to secure the game against Wake on the road, but didn't shoot it well. And today, another tough shooting outing for NC State.
And a foul in the backcourt. Diamond Johnson reaching in. And Virginia as a team shoot just 71% from the floor. That's 10th out of 15 in the ACC. They're going to put London, beg your pardon, Lexia Smith, or try to get Valladay, beg your pardon.
Well, this has been the state of NC State all season long, trying to find a team identity and leadership to have that consistency like they've had over the last few years under Coach Moore's reign. And he's been waiting for one of these players to really step up and be that leader, whether it's vocally, by example, but they have not found that consistent leader that can get them over the hump.
And since that timeout called by Coach Mox, Johnson's three, no. Jakia Brown-Turner is going to get the basket and the foul. I was going to say NC State has not scored. That snaps a 4-minute and 43-second scoring drought. And they've missed 10 straight shots.
Right. And this is just pretty crazy. I guess we're seeing a different showing. The last time these teams met, NC State had their way with UVA with a big win at home. And now UVA is paying back the favor. Looking like if they can continue to play like they've been playing this game in the last 3 minutes, this is going to be a huge home victory for the Cavaliers this afternoon.
So McKenna Dale fouls out. Brown-Turner gets the three-point play. It might have said 0 points on Dale's stat line there, but the fact that she was able to soak up 19 minutes, that helped keep Taylor in the game longer, Clarkson in the game longer.
And her defense.
Yeah, don't be misled by those.
You can't. She did what she needed to do and what Coach Mox wanted her to do. And even though she fouled out, she competed between the lines and defensively really gave UVA a good showing and a post presence.
So that foul's on Diamond Johnson. Vaughn hits the free throw. It almost looks as if NC State's willing to force Virginia to go to the line here. They feel like they've got to extend the game still with 3 minutes left, and Virginia not shooting the ball particularly well on the free throw line either there.
Well, that's the recipe. They have to score quickly because it's less than 3 minutes left in this game.
Virginia 6 for 11 from the free throw line. Diamond Johnson's three won't fall. That's been the story of the week. NC State went 0 for 10 from 3 in a win on Thursday. They're 2 for 22 tonight. Out to Johnson. NC State creates the turnover. 2.5 to play, down by 16.
That's big.
Make it 13. Boyd's got it.
That's a big knockdown. A three they definitely need right now.
Boyd's got 4 fouls. Trying to trap. And a turnover forced by Jada Boyd and the Wolfpack.
And you see it. NC State's not out of it yet. Still some good time left in this game. NC State down 13, but the defense by Jada Boyd and her teammate James, great double team to force that turnover. Ooh, looked like it may have gone off of Boyd's knee a bit, but they call it out on UVA.
And she's doing that with 4 fouls, fella.
Well, she has to now. It's crunch time.
Baseline entry and a quick 2. Boyd is down to 11.
Well, they have to see if they can get another or create another turnover like they did on the previous possession.
Ooh, a dangerous route there taken by Lawson ahead to Valladay. They get it over. Trying to kill some clock. And Brown-Turner commits the foul. Valladay to the line for 2 more.
And these are important free throws. Every time UVA goes to the line, they have to be intentional on trying to knock down their free throws. It's crunch time, and this is how you seal games at the end.
Just the second foul on Brown-Turner. And Valladay, she's got a lot of strengths in her game. Free throw line is not one of them. 11-point Kishin with 2 minutes left, and that's kind of the question on the Virginia bench is, can we hang on for another 2 minutes with an 11-point lead?
Right.
There it is, 12.
At this point, if you can knock down 1 out of 2, that's
enough.
solid. That's solid, especially with the lead that UVA has right now.
Brown-Turner, baseline, quick lay-in. Not only are they scoring these possessions, but they're doing it quickly, fella.
They are. It's like, where was this earlier in the game? I know Coach Moore, but when it's crunch time, getting down to the wire, they're showing what they're capable of doing. NC State is.
Johnson and Boyd pressing Valladay. And knocked loose by Brown-Turner. NC State's got the basketball. Johnson, a 3. No. Boyd, the offensive rebound and a stick back. It's down to 8. The minute 25 left, fella.
Hey, it can happen. We've seen it with less time. I want to go back to Reggie Miller when he was with the Pacers in the league, you know, with less than a minute and able to get that win. But this is a great showing by NC State defensively. We see Brown Turner runs in to get the steal, kicks it out to Diamond Johnson, who can't knock down the three, but then Jada Boyd is right there to clean it up.
NC State has made 4 of their last 5 shots.
I know Coach Mox. She's trying. We said it. She's trying to figure this out. She's like, we got a minute 25. We are so close with closing this game out and securing a fantastic home victory. But NC State still has a lot of fight in them. They're not the number 22 team in the nation for no reason.
But a couple things on the line here. Virginia trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. NC State is trying to pick up, really more so avoid a bad loss.
Right.
That would severely damage their resume as a potential host in the NCAA tournament. And not to mention, NC State has been in the top 25 96 straight weeks.
Yeah, if this loss here, this will probably kick them out. You know, unless they have some really, you know, loyal voters that will continue to keep them in the top 25. But a loss this afternoon, they really risk being out of the top 25 for the first time in a while.
And Coach Moore's been around long enough for he to say, we're not worried about the ranking, we're worried about the way we played. They're trying to make a last-ditch effort on this one. Smith trapped in the corner. Virginia out of timeouts. It's Valladay, and a foul called on Isaiah James as she collides with Valladay.
Ooh, that was a tough call, and that helped Virginia out tremendously because it looked like another turnover and NC State was going to go for it. And there's some contact there, but the way these teams have been playing, I'm surprised that the refs called it. But these are some huge free throws that Valladay's going to have to step up and knock down.
She hits the first.
That's what your leaders are all about. In crunch time, it doesn't even matter what your percentage is, but can you knock them down when they really count?
She hits them both, so leads back to 10. Virginia, who didn't take a free throw in the first 3 quarters, has now taken more in this game than NC State. Brown Turner draws the foul, and she'll go to the line.
This will be good for NC State if Brown Turner can knock down these 2 free throws with the clock stopped. This is the best way you can score, especially when you're trying to claw your way back into a game.
76% free throw shooter on the year, 2 of 3 today.
Big free throw by Brown Turner. Let's see if she can knock down the second.
Lawson gets the rebound on the miss. That ball is loose. Lawson picks it up. Got to get it over. And 2, 1, 10-second violation, NC State basketball.
Wow, NC State was moving on that full court pressure. Diamond Johnson had an opportunity to get a steal. She just missed it. But you have to applaud NC State's defense. They continue to get after it and force the second 10-second call in this game.
1 minute to play, a 9-point game. That shot won't fall. Lawson's got the rebound and a jump ball. Still Virginia basketball. NC State is 3 of 25 from free throw. A team that entering today ranked 3rd in the ACC in 3-point shooting. But in their last 2 games combined, they are 3 for 35. It's just completely left them. So they get it across. Lawson picks up her dribble. Out to Vaughn. Wolfpack have to foul. It's going to be the 3rd foul on Jakia Brown Turner.
And these are some big free throws right now that Valladay is going to have to step up and knock down. She just, her last showing at the line, she was able to knock down both of her free throws. So let's see if she can do it again.
Boy, these last couple, there's been no doubt. This is a season high for Taylor Valladay. Now with 21 points, and she hits the second.
She's been big for UVA all afternoon, defensively, offensively. She's been the player.
Boyd pops a three, hits it. Not quite done yet. Timeout called by NC State.
Well, NC State's continuing the fight, but they needed this showing about a quarter earlier. But that was a big shot right there by Jada Boyd, able to knock down the three, their fourth three of the game, and a needed three for NC State if they want to continue to make this run in the fourth quarter.
I mean, the math for Virginia right now is pretty simple. Like you said, 1 out of 2, I probably could do it at the free throw line.
Oh, yeah. They have a solid lead still in this game, up by 8. And if they can just continue to take care of the basketball, don't lose it in the backcourt. And if they get fouled, knock down free throws, they have a solid chance of closing out this game and getting a home victory this afternoon and ending their 7-game losing streak.
We know many of you are waiting to tune into Duke Miami. We'll get you there as soon as this one is over. Inbounds to Valladay, to Clarkson, Lawson, and the foul from Isaiah James. Like you said, if there's not a turnover mixed in, it's going to be a tough road to hoe for NC State with 27 seconds left.
And that was a good job by Virginia in breaking NC State's full court press. Probably the best we've seen them do it all afternoon. And put in Lawson to the free throw line where she's about 66%, but she knocks down the first one.
And another one would make it, barring a 4-point play, a 4-possession game. And it rolls home, and Virginia can smell it now. They lead by 10, on the verge of snapping a 7-game losing streak and getting a win over a top 25 opponent. Boyd way off the mark with that 3-pointer, and another foul called. And that ought to do it. Virginia, a 10-point lead. Cavalier fans on their feet and fouling. What does a win like this mean for Coach Mox, her first year in the program, and doing so with such a short bench?
I think it means a lot. And we see Lawson over there on the bench having some issues, maybe dehydrated. But this has been an incredible win for this team, especially all of the trials and tribulations they've been through this season with the injuries, losing their post players and 2 of their top players in McLean as well as Brunel. But they have stepped up, and this is a team, they realize when your number's called, you have to play. And the play of Lawson this afternoon, we talked about Camryn Taylor, how she's been incredible, but Valladay putting on a showing was incredible for UVA this afternoon.
And Virginia, after losing to this NC State team by 25 points at full strength, they pull off the upset over number 22 NC State. They snap a 7-game losing streak and get a win over the Wolfpack for the first time in over 5 years. Coach Mox, her team, what an effort.
No, it was a big-time effort, and this is what she talked about. They continued just to play with urgency and gave a punch to NC State and didn't let up. And they played